But so long as we had everybody from Shatawale to everybody coming through this, Dr. Duncan, everybody, Chris Atto, everybody coming through this place, Kwame Fachis and anybody else coming through here. Nobody was charged. Young people run it. Time schedules. No general manager.
That's smart.
Within 36 months, you've hit those social media targets. You can then go and sell the radio station for $3-4 million.
Mr. Hebert, how did you land the Kotoko job?
I think that's probably one of the biggest mysteries because first that was not my aim. Secondly, not coming from a football background. But the history of my life is people never get involved with me unless things have collapsed. So Kotoko could not field a team to play in the league.
I remember. He was supposed to play in Cape Coast.
That's right, Dwarves.
Yeah.
We couldn't raise 11 players. Could not raise 11 players. And
points deduction.
You're right. There we go. So then people were pushing. Coach Ouattara, Kwabena Yeboah, people were pushing this. And I actually had no intention because I like the image where people know who you are, but they never see you. So I don't go to functions. I don't appear where people want. I don't do parties. I just go about minding my business. But I'd been asked by a good friend who was a friend of Sepp Blatter at the time. And they wanted to see whether Sepp was going to do more things for Africa football. And he asked me, can we not get him onto Supersport? And anyway, cut a long story short, I spoke to Gary Bailey. And Sepp was coming to South Africa, so I flew there. And he had this interview before he became FIFA president. Afterwards, there was a gentleman there called Whelan, attached to Manchester United. And there was a couple of South African journalists who said, hey, Herbert, we hear you're going back to Ghana. I hear people want you involved in football. And I said, no, I have no interest. And the guy from Manchester United said to me, come on, there's greatness in Ghana. You've got to. And I said, no, it was a big argument. Anyway, he persuaded me that don't fly Joburg to London, come to Accra. So he came with me to Accra. We went with Kwabena Yeboah up to Kumasi to go and have a look and see what was going on in Kotoko. We went to the training grounds. There was Dogomoro and Ebo Men's there. There were 2 or 3 footballs. The training park was horrible. Nothing was happening. And then we turned around from this and we said we're going. They said, no, we have to go to manhyia and go and see Otumfo. And I said, oh, who are we? But they said, come on. So we went to manhyia. When we reached there, they said they wouldn't let us enter.
Really?
Because who were we? They didn't know us. So we said, okay. So we left. And I still remember as we got into a car leaving, Kwabena Yeboah was in tears because his beloved Kotoko, he thought this was the last hope for the last hope. He was in tears. I was laughing. I said, let's go back. Unbeknown to me, people from the training grounds and from town all converged on manhyia, shouting and creating chaos that somebody coming to save their club had been turned away. In the end, 11 people were shot. People don't realize.
Really?
Oh, yes.
By the police?
By the manhyia, I think, Sanahene, some of the chiefs. Long guns were shot. They didn't die, but 11 serious injuries. And that's something that people have forgotten now. So by the time I reached Accra, then my mother called me, asking me, Kojo, what stupid have you been doing again? You will never learn. When we talk to you, you don't this. I said, old lady, what's going on? I haven't done anything. She says, don't be stupid. Switch on the television. You see. So I said, hey, the woman, they beat me again. So I switched on the TV and I saw rioting and so forth in Kumasi, water cannon dispersing the crowd. So I thought, wow. But what is this? It cannot be because of nobody knows who I am. So I took a deep breath. I called Kwabena, I called people and I said, look at this. They said, they gave the story. So I thought, wow. So I remember calling Tina, who is Nana Champagne, his wife, who's a family friend. And I said to her, this is what has happened. Thank goodness I didn't go there for a job. But this one day, I'm not interested. And she says, you can't talk like that. If the matter involved you, you have to go to Kumasi and see Nana Achampahene and explain yourself. Then you can leave. So I left here. I drove to Kumasi. I drove by myself, as usual. There's just something about the atmosphere. Konongo, Ejuso, Kumasi, people were staring and pointing. I think, me, I'm always in trouble, but at this one, I don't think I've done anything. Not this time. Then people, I asked, they said, oh, I should go to House of Chiefs. There's a meeting going on there. So I drove around the back. Got out, went up. I was peeping. Nana Achampahene was in audience with so many chiefs. And they were talking about Kotoko and what could they do about it. And it was getting out of hand. And I think the Dwarfs match had not been played, and it's a big disgrace. And wow. After about some time, I was trying to signal Nana Achampahene that I was there. So I can have a chat, I can go. And eventually he saw me, and then he announced that today
the Messiah is here.
He didn't call me that. But he just said that the young man, me old man, he said, this year we have the young man in those days here, and the new chairman of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he said, and the whole place then erupted. And I was then carried from there to Manhyia, put in a room, throwing powder and things on me. And then Otumfo Opokuwari came down after about 30 minutes. I was on the phone with one Alaji who was working with me and Edwin Ado who was working with me, and I said, look, send me up some money. They said, what? And I told him what had happened. That silly boy Edwin was laughing his head off. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I said, send me some dollars now, I don't care. And then Otumfo came out and told me to sit beside him. There were about 9 chiefs, very powerful chiefs. And he said that today he's not going to go through the Ochami, that my father is his brother. And this is the time. And so something I was not prepared for. And he says, I'm going to give you my team for an unlimited period. No more constitution. Fix my team for me. And then he said, just tell me briefly, how are you going to do it? And not following what is going on, but I just said, we need to break the team down and rebuild it. And rebuild it into such a form that in 5 years we're in the Champions League. Within 10 years we're now competing with Greek teams and the rest, and the greatness of Kotoko will be reinstated. And that's how we then took over the team.